Hello class, Matt Clark, your COMM201 instructor here, and welcome to week 2 of our September 2021 session. Now that we have all of our introductions out of the way, it is time to get down to business as we are going to be compacting a lot of information into a very short amount of time. But I do want to get to some ground rules first regarding the course and maybe some questions that you may have before we get into what we have going on this week. First off is discussion. This is kind of a big thing for me. It's a big part of your grade, and you should take this weekly task very seriously. For one, I would post your initial post on like Monday or Tuesday. Remember, it needs to cover the full discussion prompts and be at least 150 words long. So make sure you are meeting that criteria first and foremost. Don't wait to the last of the week to post, because that's really not fair to the rest of the class. It doesn't give them time to respond. It's not fair for you because it means that you're already kind of behind. So make sure you try to get into this into the discussion as quickly as you can in the week. Now, as far as your replies, I look very closely at these replies. Remember, this is really only your real point of interaction with each other. So your replies should contain solid content. And by this, I do not mean 1 or 2 sentence responses. That is, to me, not acceptable. Ask your classmates questions, ask me questions, check your spelling and punctuation. Make sure you're adding depth to these discussions. I know it's a time-consuming thing, but it is part of the class, and it is a big part of the class. It's not just about learning how to speak, it's also about learning how to communicate. So make sure you are paying attention and putting some time and effort into your discussion initial post and your replies. Now, assignments, pretty straightforward here. You have until 11:59 Eastern time. I'm on the East Coast, so depending on where you're at, if you're in Virginia or in New York or somewhere like that, it's the same time zone. If you are in Wisconsin or the Midwest, it is an hour behind, so you have until 11:59 Eastern time on Saturdays to turn in your weekly assignments. If you're going to have an issue and cannot finish your assignment in that amount of time, you do need to email me, and email me promptly at maclark@bryantstratton.edu and let me know. Do not let that go uncommunicated. Do not fear, if you're having an issue, do not fear telling me that. Because I don't like to wait until the very last minute for a student to communicate and say, well, I didn't turn in 4 or 5 weeks worth of assignments because I was scared to reach out to you. Don't. Tell me. Otherwise, I don't really have many excuses to be able to give you an extension after the class is over to turn in your assignments. So you need to make sure you're communicating that with me now, but more importantly, just make sure you're turning in your assignments on time. That's the biggest thing. I try to get to all grading of all weekly assignments, including speeches, by the following Thursday. So for this week, for example, week 1, it ended on Saturday. I will try to get everything graded by Thursday. It's a relatively short week, so I probably will get things done sooner than that. Once we get into speeches, I like to dedicate a little bit more time into grading because I want to watch it, and sometimes I watch it 2, 3, 4 times. So it does take me a little bit longer to get your grades posted. So don't fear, I will get them done, but usually by Thursday is when I have a target time to have all those grades back to you. Now, email, this is another thing. Always make sure you're checking your college email, your bryantstratton.edu email address, because I'm going to send you announcements and updates and links and things like that, including this, to that email address. And if you aren't checking it, you're going to miss it. I also email students individually once a week, or try to, just to let them know on their progress. If you're not checking your email, you're going to miss that. So make sure you are checking your college email for any communication that I might have. Now, video uploads. This is something you're not questioning yet, but you're going to. When we get into giving speeches in week 3, you're going to upload your videos to Blackboard. Make sure you know how to record your videos and how to upload them. You can record them using your phone. You can record them using your laptop camera if you have one, or whatever. They need to make sure they are inputted properly. The input of these files are either MP4s or MOV. So your dot at the end of your extension needs to be either MP4 or MOV. If you have questions, email me, and email me beforehand. Don't email me after you've recorded the video. Email me beforehand if you have questions on that. Also, make sure you are testing your equipment to make sure that your sound is being picked up right, and that your image is being picked up right, and that it is clear, and that you kind of have a basic working of how your camera works. So when you get into giving speeches in week 3, it's not a whole new learning process. So just make sure you're getting into that. It's not hard, and I'm more than happy to help you. just make sure you reach out to me and let me know. Now, for this week, you're going to learn how to evaluate speeches. Being able to evaluate speeches is very helpful, especially as you start to develop your own speeches, not only now, but in the future. Make sure you go through the lecture and the speech essentials file before you do any posting in class and discussion or complete the assignment that you have. You've got a reflection due to me as well. You're going to have these on a regular basis. Basically what they are is you're going to be prompted with a couple questions and you have to write a response to me. These responses need to be about 150 words. Make sure you're addressing any and all questions in the reflection. Type them up in Word and upload them to Blackboard. And make sure, like I said, make sure your reflection is at least 150 words. Now, there's also a tab this week in week 2 that gives you an overview of all the speeches you'll be required to give in this class, and you have 5. Don't be alarmed by that, but you do have 5. Starting in week 3, you've got a My Career speech. Week 4 is an informative speech. Week 5 is your midterm. Week 6 and 7, we're going to tackle your portfolio, and then week 7.5, the last week of the session, is your final exam. Again, don't worry about these just yet, but I do encourage you to look at the information and get familiar with it before we really jump into it. I'm also planning to schedule a live chat later this week. What I'd like to do is just set up a live chat to where you can jump on and you can ask me questions and we can talk about things in the class. I want to do this more frequently, and you know, it's not mandatory, although with a lot of you expressing some nerves about public speaking and things like that, it would probably be a good idea to jump into it. I'm going to email you later this week, maybe even today, with a link and what time we're going to be doing the live chat, just so you are up to date and know what's going on. So make sure you are checking your email, and I will give you instructions on how you can join the live chat and what time it is. That's all for me this week. Remember, if you do have any questions or anything like that, you can email me anytime, maclark@bryantstratton.edu, or you can contact me through the Ask Your Instructor tab, which is on the left-hand side of Blackboard. Remember, though, Ask Your Instructor. Any questions you ask there, they're viewed by everyone. So if it's something of a personal nature, or maybe you're expressing to me an illness or something like that, it's probably best to email me. If you have a picture, if you have a question that maybe the entire class may be interested in, then Ask Your Instructor is the best place to go. Good luck, and I will see you all in discussion and look forward to our first live session coming up later this week.